This is our fire series, and we're going to be looking at fire by compression. And the way they used to do this a long time ago, it was done over in areas that have bamboo. Well, I'm from Michigan. We don't have bamboo here, but probably the closest plant that we would have like bamboo is this Japanese knotweed. And bamboo grows in sections. Well, this Japanese knotweed does too as well. And so it'll help us to understand somewhat how they did that. And you can see this is a little longer piece, and you can see these segments like this. And what they would do is they would take and they would cut off a segment, and they would have the hollow part on one end and one section that was still connected on the other. So here's our hollow part here, and then they would have the end that was solid. And then what they would do is they would take this and they would drill a hole in the bottom like we got here. And what they would do is they would grab some tinder, some really small tinder, and a lot of times they would use an old dried punky wood and things like that. They would put it on a rock, on a smooth rock. They would take the little hole that they had and they would put that right over the top of that. And then they would have another one, another piece of bamboo that they would take, and they would wrap a rag around the end. They would smear some fat on there for lubrication. They would stick that in the end until it was really tight. Then they would take a rock and they would smack it. And what happens when you compress air fast and hard, it will actually flash. It will burn up the oxygen that's in it. So when they did this, and they would smack it, this would flash in here, and then they would pull it apart, pull it off. Their tinder here would be smoldering, and then they would take that, put it into a tinder bundle, and blow that into a flame. And fire pistons is what they're called today. Now, a German engineer by the name of Diesel, he saw one of these in action, and that's what gave him the idea to go and design the diesel engine. Now, today we have modern ones. Now, if you want to make a fire piston, they have plans on the internet. And this is one that I put together quite a few years ago. And this one actually, you can do them out of plexiglass, you can do them out of different woods. Some guys will do them out of a horn of an animal. This is an old magnolite. Take the magnolite apart, do some work on it. You can store char cloth on the top. And this is the piston here, it's a piece of wood. Show on the plans exactly what to get from your hardware store. And this fits in here, and then you can turn this upside down and smack it. You'd end up having your tinder in there and you'd be good to go. So this one does work, and it's fairly cheap. So if you want to make one, you can do that. Look on the internet, fire pistons plans. Nowadays we got companies that make them. This one's kind of a Cadillac, and so what we do is we have the cylinder part of the hole here, and then we have this part which is called the piston. Now the piston's going to have a seal on it. This one's an O-ring. Some of them will use O-rings, and some of them will actually use some string and go around there. Now you need to actually lubricate that. And one of the things I found that works really well is a chapstick. And you just take the chapstick and kind of smear it on there. You don't have to do it every time. And you get some of that on there, and then you can work it with your finger, and that works as a real good lubricant for these things. Now in the very end of this, you're going to have a dimple. This one's carved in there. Right now I've got the dimple full of char cloth. You can use different things. fungi and stuff, you know, the chaga that we talked about over in our tinder section. And also you could use the horse fungus that we talked about. There's a lot of little things out here that are dry that you can get to ignite with one of these things. And so right now we're going to use char cloth, and the object is we're going to put this together and we're going to smack it, and inside here that will flash, and hopefully we'll get our char cloth going. Then we're going to use a toothpick. I'm going to take our toothpick and use that to pull the glowing char cloth out, put it in our tinder bundle, and then we'll see if we can get a flame from that into a tinder bundle. So that's the idea, that's what we're going to do. We'll see how many times it takes before I actually get this to go. A lot of times I get it on one. This is a pretty good one here. So let's see if we can get fire from compression. There, we got a little fire there. Do you see that on the end? We'll go ahead and put that into our tinder bundle. And we'll see if we can blow this into a flame. There we go, we got fire from compression. And what you do is you'd have your other pieces ready to go, and as soon as you got fire you put them in your really small stuff and then work to the bigger and bigger until you had your fire built. And so at this point you get to go practice.